You can feel the madness.
And Edward says you can be in my jersey with me and I'll still knock this shot down.
Feeds the corner. Aaron Harrison hits the three. Williams to tie it with a three. He goes. Horn pulls it down. 5 seconds. Fires for three. Game is tied.
Hello, friends, and welcome back into the D1 and Done pod presented by Syds Bar and Grill. We want to thank our good friend Jack Carney for sending us that sponsorship. A big bag dropped at our doorstep this morning, and we could not believe it. It just was full of just $1 bills and quarters. Shockingly, no other big bills. But all it said, the note was, just make this out to Syds Bar and Grill. So thank you, Chip. Thank you, Jack Carney, for getting that sponsorship for us as we are presented by Syds Bar and Grill on this episode of the D1 and Done pod. Please make sure you give us a follow on our social media pages. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send us an email. It is d1anddonepod@gmail.com. We also have our SpeakPipe up and running. It is speakpipe.com/d1anddonepod. You can send us any sort of voice message or any questions that you may have in regards to the big dance. Robby Donahoe, Nick Mills, Dusty Mills, and producer Jake Mills has his buddy the elf desk all set up and ready to go there in the corner, looking pretty good. All right, we say it all the time when it comes to the NCAA tournament. We love the upsets, we love the madness, but when it gets to this time of the year, we want the heavy hitters, we want the blue bloods, the big time teams. And ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
I'll say immediately, I think I said this maybe on one of our prior ones. The Sweet 16, that Thursday and Friday, is the best 2 days of the tournament.
The best games, I would say, yes.
The people that don't watch college basketball, they say they love the noon till, let's say, 1 a.m., watching
Give or
games
take.
of teams they don't care about and
Sure.
don't know about. But when you talk about, like, great college basketball, Thursday and Friday is going to be amazing.
Yeah, we like upsets early and chalk late. Because, I mean, you look at
Correct,
this. You look
yes.
at this slate. I mean, what? There's how many? All 1, 2s, and 3 seeds moved on. We have one double-digit seed at NC State. And by the way, NC State team with some talent. The
Really
two
good.
DJs. So, yeah, not much more context. Say it's just an awesome slate of games on Thursday and Friday. And by the way, shout Syds. It's great to have a sponsor.
Great to have them aboard.
For all the money I've donated to them over the years, it's nice they're giving
to see
back
them
to
give it
me.
back.
They're giving it back, yeah.
Now, to be fair, this is on Jack Carney's behalf that he is giving to us and from Syds. So, again, Syds not an official sponsor, but an unofficial sponsor.
I've never given money to Jack, but thank you, Jack.
So I believe this is the first time since
and also it's Jack's birthday.
It is Jack's birthday, so happy birthday, Jack Carney. It is his 35th
I have not
birthday.
texted you today, but if you listen to this, Jack, from Dusty right now, happy birthday.
So I don't know if this is fitting or not, but so Jack is 35 years old today. Brian Cardinal wore the number 35 when he was at Purdue University. And that is one of his favorite players of all time. So connect the dots.
Well, do you want to start there? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. Obviously a little nervous. But, I mean, again, I continue to go back to it. And I don't know if I'm not dreading this game at all, really. I'm so excited. I really am excited. And Jack and my good pal Randy Witter, they're going to be at the game in Detroit coming up on a Friday, so they purchased tickets. They'll be there. They asked me. I think I've spent enough money on watching Purdue play in person this year. But
Shout out friend of the program, Nate Hahn. He was supposed to leave for Florida on Sunday. But he moved it to Monday, and the off chance Purdue makes the Elite Eight, and he'll go to Detroit for it. So
love it. Very nice. But yeah, overall, I'm excited. Again, overall euphoria. I would love to see this team make a Final Four. If they don't, it'll stink. But we'll get into it a little bit later, but the matchups for Purdue are very familiar, and they should be familiar for a lot of Purdue teams.
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked about on Sunday night, but like their path to national championship could be the same exact path and same order as the Maui tournament,
much
which would
so.
be Gonzaga, Tennessee, Marquette.
We'll get into that in greater detail going forward. But yeah, just overall, I want to start with just going through all of the matchups in the Sweet 16 and the Elite, but also what stood out from the first two rounds of the tournament. I believe this is the first time since 2007 that we've had all 4 1 seeds and all 4 2 seeds make it to the Sweet 16. I believe
2019. I believe they
or was
said
it was 2019. I'm sorry. 2007 was
they listed all of them.
Was before that. Yeah. So 2019 we had all 1s and all 2 seeds, but again we didn't have any 15 seeds upset anyone. We didn't have any real big shockers of double-digit seeds making a big run outside of NC State.
And teams like Yale and Duquesne, who moved on, got blasted in round 32.
So I'm tiptoeing around Oakland right now, but I will say they showed up and played very well against NC State, and that was a good game.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and
That's
say
your Oakland update.
I want to give credit to the committee. They get ripped every single year. They get ripped because it's the bubble teams, and we're mad that Indiana State didn't make it. And then
they should be in, by the way, because their NIT run has been
they
awesome
should be
so
in.
far.
The Final Four of the NIT for those that don't know, which actually happens to be in Indianapolis. So
how about that?
It'll be at Hinkle Fieldhouse. I assume that's this Thursday.
It's coming up this week. Yeah. Producer Jake, when's the NIT Final Four?
Okay. But the fact that, like you just said, all the 1 and 2 seeds are still alive. I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They took care of the good teams, and that's how you earn it. You guys heard my wife, for those who listen all the time, about she doesn't understand why the 16th seed,
second and the fourth.
Okay, why the 16th seed has to play the 1 seed.
It's coming up next
and I always
week,
tell her it's because the 1 seed earned that. Like they get to play the bad team for a reason. So I just think they did a great job, and I think they should be commended for that. And again, we can sit here and argue about Indiana State, or we can just be like, okay, they got the right teams.
They did.
The right teams are moving on.
So,
besides Kentucky.
2 things I want to point out. That Texas A&M Houston game was crazy similar to that Northern Iowa Texas A&M game from with Daniel House. I can't remember what year it was.
2016.
Was it 16? Where again, A&M was down by 12 with about a minute to go, and they came back and forced overtime.
Can I say about that game too? We talk about Wade Taylor can make like a Kemba Walker run. He did the
exact opposite.
He was horrific.
He was
in that,
terrible.
if he's a C-, they win that basketball game.
Yeah.
And he was not a C-.
I still can't get over the fact that Jamal Shed, LJ Cryer, who else fouled out? They had like 4 guys foul out.
Sharp.
Jamarian Sharp also fouled out. Like that. I cannot get over that game. That was the most unbelievable game, and I want to pull up that box score. So again,
truly just survive in
195, and maybe the moment of the tournament was watching 6'1" senior Ryan Elvin walk up to the free throw line and miss the first free throw. And there's no way he's making the second. And sure enough, he stepped up and hit it, and that was the biggest shot of the game. So it was Emmanuel Sharp, he fouled out. It was Javier Francis fouled out, LJ Cryer, and Jamal Shed. They had 4 guys foul out, and I just kept yelling out, just get it to a second overtime. And I think A&M might have won, but they just did not have enough at the end.
Shout out Jamal Shed. He didn't foul out till late in the overtime.
Right.
It was basically Jamal Shed versus A&M the whole overtime.
It was.
His jump stop, which is like it was like a Derrick Rose jump stop. It was awesome.
I had people that were posting, or I saw people posting online that I had to travel. Learn what a jump stop is, you losers. Like that. That's just a great play being made by Jamal.
Just because he jumps really high does not make it a
Play the hot take
travel
button right now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely not a travel. And
it's a very athletic move that some
is.
people can't even fathom doing themselves.
Right.
So
yeah, very much so.
Jake, does Derrick Rose still do that? The jump stop?
Derrick Rose is retired.
Is he really?
I thought he was still playing.
I think it was on the Grizzlies.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right,
wow.
we'll look that up.
We'll shout Derrick Rose.
All right, we'll give you our locks for the tournament. We're going to preview all the Sweet 16 and kind of look ahead maybe to the Elite 8 or teams that we like going into the Final Four. So let's start first with those Thursday games. We'll get it started with Clemson, Arizona, 7:09 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern time tips. That'll be on CBS.
Well, let's start with Clemson real quick.
Okay.
Because we crapped on them.
We did.
And that Baylor game.
Wait, when did we crap on them?
I definitely did. I thought we did during our bracket preview. I could be wrong.
Preview, yeah. We gave them their flowers Sunday night, though.
We did.
Yeah.
We gave them shots
but
on
that.
that.
They dominated Baylor.
They looked
and
so,
New Mexico.
They looked They looked
yeah.
so unassuming, but my gosh, like they were so dominant in that game against Baylor. And if it wasn't for just them peeing down their legs for the last 5 minutes of the game and letting that get to a tie game, I mean, Clemson would have won that game easily going forward.
They did not make a field goal the last 6 minutes and still won that game. I won't say comfortably, but I don't think Baylor never got the lead or anything.
That Baylor team basically lived off of whatever Ray J. Dennis could do in that game. And it was kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Like, I expected Baylor to be better than this.
No, they were the Kentucky South of this year. Like, they didn't play defense. They're reliant on these guards and offense, and it finally bit them in the butt.
But I think that's also a bigger take as well. Like, the Big 12, everyone's saying they're the best conference in college basketball.
That's one thing we got right.
You're already declaring victory on that?
Yeah.
It's a single elimination tournament.
I have not been impressed watching, honestly, any
So is
Big 12
ACC
team
the best
play.
basketball conference now?
Honestly, I don't know if you could really give it to anyone, but it's not the Big 12. I mean, I still would land on the SEC, even though they performed poorly
Honestly, they've
overall.
done probably worse than the Big 12.
And I would agree, yes. But just
not the Mountain West.
the caliber of play. By the way, the Mountain West has become the West Coast Conference of college basketball. San Diego State is Gonzaga, and everyone else is going to find a way to get in the tournament and lose.
They just need to get their... I guess St. Mary's falls out every year.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was shocked at how poor Utah State was. Outside of that run that Martinez made with a bunch of those threes, ever since then it was just like, oh, this team won the Mountain West.
And don't forget, New Mexico, we mentioned, got blasted. Colorado State kind of got handled by Texas.
Colorado State had no offense. As much as I love Isaiah Stevens, they had no offense.
And so, yeah, Mountain Best.
Nevada losing a 17-point lead or whatever that was to Dayton. Yeah, that was... Mountain West, unfortunately, I will love you forever, but Mountain West, never again unless you're San Diego State. Just not going to happen. But back to Clemson, okay? So this matchup is curious. So Arizona is 7.5-point favorite currently. I think that's pretty high. With how well Clemson has played defensively, I think the total 152 is also really high because I feel like Clemson wants to play in a half court. They want to slow it down. They want to, kind of guard you and get in your face defensively. I was a bit surprised at both of those numbers. I know Arizona's really good offensively, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess just Vegas doesn't trust Clemson either.
I guess.
Which I can't really... I mean, we're pro Clemson basketball in this pod. We're probably
pro Brad Brownell.
Pro Brad
Brownell. Yes.
Also, it'd be great. Is it Chase Hunter? I always forget the Clemson's
yes, Chase Hunter
versus Caleb Love in this game. Nice little matchup to watch.
Speaking of, this is my lock going into the tournament. So, Caleb Love has the opportunity to play North Carolina in basically the Elite Eight. So Caleb Love's points currently, the over-under points on FanDuel is 18.5.
Looks like 18 shots in the first 10 minutes.
He's going over 18.5. There is no way in hell this man is going to be below 20 points because he has a chance to play his former team. Now, he's going to throw up probably 20.
It may take 80 shots.
It may take 80 shots.
He's scoring 20.
He's scoring 20 points. Now, his first two tournament games, he scored 19 and 18. So Vegas kind of playing the numbers there. But I promise you, Caleb Love is going over 18.5 points. That's
love
my
it.
lock. You got to love it.
Love it.
So that's my lock. But I like Arizona. And again, this tournament is going against everything that I know, I feel like. Tennessee should not be here. I don't trust them. Marquette should not be here. I don't trust them. I don't trust Arizona. I don't trust Alabama. I don't trust Illinois. I don't trust Purdue. Okay? It just feels like across the board, there's teams I just do not trust that are here.
You were hating on Iowa State. Here they are.
I was hating on Iowa State. Iowa State had two very fortunate, easy, well, I wouldn't say easy, but teams they should beat. San Diego, South Dakota State, and Washington State.
Well, technically, all these top seeds should have been all the teams they faced so far.
I agreed. They should.
We're being technical with
Well,
them.
we are.
All right, so let me ask a question then. 16 teams left. Who impressed you over the week? Because I do have a team that I was not expecting to perform the way they did, and they.
We kind of
blew
mentioned
me.
this. Yeah, we kind of mentioned this on Sunday. I mean, you could bounce around to a couple.
I answered
different teams.
Clemson on Sunday night. I mean,
Yeah, you
Gonzaga's
said
up there
Clemson.
Say
too.
at the SEC, mine was Duke.
And Duke was yours, yeah. I'll be honest. I mean, even though it was just pure chaos, like Alabama impressed me with the way that they played at the end against Grand Canyon because they easily could have fallen victim to just the chaos and the fans and the atmosphere. But like they got stops defensively, even though I don't think Grand Canyon ran one offensive set the entire game. At least not in the second half they didn't. It was basically Tyon Grant Foster. Let him just go do whatever. I was impressed that Alabama could win a knockout, drag-out fight. So I will give some credit to Alabama on that front. And they also blitzed Charleston, a team that could score and get up and down. So I was impressed by that as well. So I'll give a shout to the Tide on that.
Do you want to give predictions on zone? Like, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go down the line with each game?
Yeah, we'll go down the line for each game after we predict. I think Arizona will beat Clemson. I like
Agreed.
Arizona's chances.
I just cannot see.
I'm with you on that as well.
As much as we've been loving on Clemson, I cannot see them Elite Eight. Give me Arizona.
Do we
in
think,
the cover?
I think we all think UConn's going to beat San Diego State, correct? No?
That I actually wanted to bring that one up.
Okay.
I actually like San Diego State.
Do
in this
you really?
Game. Yes.
Okay. Why?
just their physicality.
Yeah.
And that's who UConn cannot be, is a really physical team. I say that, they have three losses. I know. I'm sorry. The more that I look at the bracket, there's a few teams that I feel like will definitely be in the lead 8, and I just like San Diego State the more that I've thought about today and whatnot.
I mean, they were at this point last year, and they were able to get passed as a 5 seed. So
past years, the number 1 overall seed has lost in the Sweet 16. Should be noted.
I believe Louisville was the last number 1 overall seed, which technically didn't count, right?
To win it all.
Yeah, so it would technically it would have been 2008 Florida was the last overall number 1 seed.
2012 Kentucky.
Oh, thank you.
12 Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. There's a sin on my side right there.
As a Calipari guy, I had to remind you right there.
Jeez.
But yeah, I guess. That's
true.
I was at the game.
And then San Diego State, again, they played each other last year. So,
right.
I think with the way UConn's playing, a team that can maybe compete, they can't not be scared of them. Obviously, experienced team, San Diego State. And again, the whole UConn can't beat everyone by 30, right? They're due for some sort of slip up somewhere, right?
10.5-point favorites right now. I felt like that was a big number. But also, again, UConn's been blitzing everyone. But again, you played Stetson and you played Northwestern. A Northwestern team that I was singing the praises for, that Boo Boo, he was going to tear up that drop coverage, and nope.
Well, I'm just bummed because I wanted to see Auburn and UConn so
that would have
bad.
been a really fun game to watch. Yeah.
Thanks, nerds. Thanks to your Ivy League crab for ruining that.
So okay, are you taking San Diego State then?
Yes.
I'll take them to cover. I can't pick them to win, but I really want to.
It's not my lock, but I'm taking San Diego State to beat UConn.
Oh, to beat UConn even?
Yes.
I love it.
I don't even care about the spread.
Or no, wrong one.
No, that's not my lock.
I will say if
hot take horn.
If San Diego State cannot get UConn here, I'm really nervous that they're just going to run. If they beat San Diego State by double digits, that's going to be like, oh my gosh. It really might be the UConn Invitational.
Again, I said it, the UConn Invitational on Sunday. It could be happening. All right, so those are your 7:09, 7:39 games. The late night games will be Alabama, North Carolina, and Illinois, Iowa State. 2 really good games against 2 teams that, again, kind of on opposite ends of how they play. Alabama wants to get up and down and play quick, and so North Carolina. But UNC, we forget they're a top 10 defensive efficiency team, which I think is going to be fascinating to watch. Illinois wants to score, and rebound, and not play defense. And Iowa State wants to rebound and play defense and kind of score. So, again, 2 very different teams in both matchups that I think is really fascinating to watch.
I think Iowa State, Illinois, I think it's Underwood and Ottoberger. That's just a hilarious coaching matchup.
Yes,
the sidelines, just
very much so.
They might wrestle at midcourt. I look forward to that. But yeah, that one I think is maybe the most intriguing because I think it's the most contrasting styles of any matchup, I believe, looking over. Again, like you just mentioned, Illinois wants to score. And Iowa State would prefer to win 36-32 if they could.
Very Milan Muncie Central of them.
They are. Shout out Hickory.
I will. I cannot believe I'm going to give you the credit here. This does feel like it's Illinois' game, and it feels like it's Illinois' time. And you said it back in I think it was our episode 2. There's a team that makes a run that you just don't understand, and this feels. I mean, I had no faith that Illinois was going to find a way to win that game against Duquesne because it just feels like this feels like the time that, again, Illinois loses a dumb game every year in the tournament like that. The Io DeSumo team lost to Loyola Chicago. That Illinois team was so good, and they just crapped the bed against the Ramblers.
And it's going to be the first time they're in the second weekend since 2005 when they made their national championship runner-up run. And which we know for Illinois and every game other than UConn, or if they do face Purdue, they'll probably have the best player on the court in every game they play. It was either Terrence Shannon or Del Mask.
Did you guys see that Terrence Shannon is not being made available to the media because they don't want him to say anything?
They're probably smart.
I mean, can we get a federal judge to overturn that as well?
We need Illinois and Alabama facing Final Four, and Nate Oates trying to get Terrence Shannon out of the game. We can't have guys like this playing. I'm sorry.
That's funny. All right, so we like North Carolina over Bama?
Yeah, Bama feels like they lose to every good team they play. It's kind of been their MO all year.
That's
I will
fair.
say Mark Sears versus R.J. Davis. That's
going to be
about as good as you can ask for. But I think UNC over Bama.
If Bama gets Armando Bacot in foul trouble, which not many teams can, that's going to be the killer if that does happen. Because again, North Carolina is not very big and very deep on the bench. So if Alabama can keep this a track meet and go up and down and burn North Carolina on the foul line, they've got a great chance to win this game.
So the only reason I think that Bama can win this game is go back to the Kentucky-North Carolina game. And Kentucky plays really, really fast, as we've seen. That's what Bama does.
They did.
And they did. R.I.P. But North Carolina seemed to get almost winded late in that game. I mean, it's back in December, so obviously things have changed. But hell, let's just do this. Both 1 seeds are going down on Thursday.
Ooh,
there you go.
I'm in a sassy mood today, so we're doing.
Let's get sassy, baby. I like it. I think North Carolina wins. I think this is kind of where the run from Alabama
Which, by the
stops.
way, if Hubert Davis can get to another Elite Eight, then Final Four,
all of a sudden,
2 in his first 3 years.
Again, and maybe this is just the kind of the eye test that I see with North Carolina. I mean, on paper and on the surface, they're like, okay, this is a good team. Are they? But like when you watch them, they're just like they're a completely different team than when you look at them on paper. And
all the pieces just fit for them.
They
too,
do,
guys.
especially this year. And R.J. Davis he's a cold-blooded killer, and if you need a shot down the stretch to win a game, it's going to be from him. And I trust him way more than I trust Alabama's chaotic nature of playing, in my opinion. So
Just give me Arizona UNC, please.
we got to have it.
By the way, shout out this podcast. We're on this since like the first or second episode.
We said this. We said it honestly. You said it on the Sunday bracket rapid reaction. You said it Sunday. Were you?
I immediately. That's the first thing that came to my head watching this. Like just like yes, we got it.
We
got
nailed it. All right, Illinois or Iowa State. I'll say it first. I think Illinois wins. I am, and I'm hoping now that I believe in Illinois, this is when they go down. So, but the over under is 146.5. So that means you're saying Iowa State's probably gonna have to get into the 70s to hit that over, which I think that's a big number for Iowa State to hit. They can. I know Illinois can, but I think Iowa State's going to want to try to keep this game into the 60s if they can have a chance, and I don't think they can with how good Illinois' offense is. So I'll take the Illini.
I was planning on taking Iowa State until right now. I think I'm going Illinois. I can't jump ship now.
No,
give me Illini.
No. Part of the ship, part of the crew.
See you in Phoenix.
All right, we're going to sweep it then.
Illinois.
To me, it's guard play. It's the tournament. We all know that. It's the one thing that we've talked about. We're worried about Purdue for, but Illinois. What's the spread on that?
1.5 for Iowa State.
We're going to sweep it like a cyclone. Aren't they windy? Right, cyclones, tornado.
You should have done the batted boo right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want Illinois in this.
Okay.
So I'm going to have Illinois versus San Diego State, and
he's just going right into it.
Bama versus Arizona.
Producer Jake.
Iowa State does average 75.6 points per game.
Iowa State averages 75 a game? Really?
5.6 points per game.
No kidding. Producer Jake, great stat
Robby,
there.
you gotta take a picture of Jake and like post on our socials. I cannot look at him right now. He's just like in this tiny.
I gotta lift it when I start typing.
Here, just to air. Smile while we're on camera. That's perfect. All right. Yeah, we'll post it on socials for you guys.
Which
to see.
can I say real quick? We talk about all the different locations we pod. We have another new location today.
Yeah, new studio control, new command center.
We are in our fourth different building.
No one would know. Well, I did post a picture earlier, but regardless. Let's go to the Friday games then, okay? So let's go Gonzaga, Purdue, NC State, Marquette are your early games. NC State, Marquette will be 7:09. Gonzaga, Purdue will be 7:39. Boilers are favored by 5.5. Marquette favored by 6.5 currently. What do we think about these two games in terms of spreads? Who are we feeling? I'll defer to you guys first because I already talked.
I'll jump in the Marquette real quick. Just also a hilarious big man battle in this one. It was DJ Burns and is it Dasumu? Not Dasumu. How do you say?
Oso Ighodaro.
Ighodaro. Thank you. Guys who play a little differently, I would say. He's
very much
Ighodaro's
so.
kind of like a point forward, and DJ Burns is not a point forward.
I love that matchup because so Oso is. He's a guy that can play his back to the basket, but he's also he's mastered that little mid-range push shot, which I think is a kind of a lost art of the mid-range big man game in a sense. But in a sense, there's good comparison there, producer Jake. Roosevelt Jones above Butler. I don't know how Oso Ighodaro is going to be successful in this game if Burns is able to get his body on him.
Jake, see if you can find what's DJ Burns over under rebounds for that game.
I can look it up right now.
And then again, I love all the guard matchups. Tyler Kolek versus DJ Horns, another great one.
That's a really good one.
A lot of just great guard matchups.
There are a lot of really good ones. So the teams that Marquette loses to are the teams that can rebound.
Michigan State last year.
Yeah, Michigan State.
We talk about physical teams, like I said earlier. I mean, NC State is obviously them.
And so DJ Burns to record 4 rebounds is only minus 365. Mohamed Diarra is the guy that gets all the rebounds for NC State. He's their big rebounder. He's to record 8 rebounds, he's minus 480. So, which is again fascinating. But again, you're
5.5 over 5.5 is plus money.
So over 5.5 for rebounds for DJ Burns. He only averages 4 rebounds a game, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He only averages 4 games,
which doesn't make any sense. But I want to take NC State in this game, to be honest with you, because I think they rebound much more physically than Marquette has seen in any game as of yet. They can also bring Middlebrooks off the bench, who I think can mess some things up inside. And I think NC State's guards can get in a stance and defend, for lack of a better term. I didn't think Colorado could keep they couldn't keep Cam Jones or Tyler Kolek in front of them the entire game on Sunday. So I'll take NC State. What the heck? I'll take the Wolfpack.
Outright?
I'll take them outright, yeah.
This was almost my lock. I love Marquette in this game.
Almost your lock?
It's not my lock.
Okay.
I feel like Marquette and Shaka finally just got the monkey off their backs. Maybe they play a little looser. And NC State, they have to hit a wall eventually, is my thinking. The big bad wolf finally, does not blow the house down.
Marquette has to as well at some point, right?
No. Cole got all that rest. He's refreshed. He feels great.
Good point.
Give me my Golden Eagles to Elite 8.
Marquette for Nick. Dusty?
I'll take NC State.
Ooh, boy, Dusty's feeling real frisky.
You guys keep down my boy Shaka.
I love it. Before we get into Gonzaga Purdue, I want to be able to hear from Mark Few. He was on The Herd with Colin Coward on Tuesday, talking about how is he going to guard Zach Edey. It's actually really funny to hear him say this.
Best team I saw in college basketball this year. You played Purdue earlier. Purdue, Zach Edey's just... Do you just say to yourself,
he's an entity.
He gets 25 and I'll shut down everybody else? What is a game plan against Zach?
Colin, and this will be we played him last year in the PK 85 and your old hometown Portland, and this year we played him in Maui back in November. And I mean, in 25 years I've been a head coach here, I've never dealt with a player or an entity like him. He is a really, really, really good basketball player, and he does everything well. I mean, he posts the right way. He can score. His ball goes in now. Very efficient, and he shoots free throws really well.
Yeah.
And then at the other end, he's just for a team that likes to shoot, we're very effective in the paint and shoot a lot of twos. I mean, it's tough to get shots off in the paint, and so. He's just, again, an entity that, quite frankly, I mean, I haven't seen in 25 years. And so, obviously, a lot of game planning. The best thing we got going for us is we've played against him a couple times, so we've at least felt it. It won't be a shock.
So that's Mark Few says a lot of good stuff there. So first off, Zach Edey is very good. Yes. Can we go over the fact that he's just not tall? We all know that. We all understand that at this point. But I want to kind of, I didn't get to say it off the top, but I want to kind of implore Purdue fans here at this point, if you're still listening, this is the point of the year where don't dread this game. You need to be excited about this game first and foremost. That's the biggest thing, is this is awesome. This is fun. It's so cool to be at this point, to have an opportunity.
This is where you want to be.
Yeah,
right?
This is exactly where we expect to be, where we want to be. But we want to be in the Final Four. That is our goal. That's our mindset. And then once we make the Final Four, let's go win a national championship and prove everyone wrong. Second thing, and that's all about proving everyone wrong, Purdue fans got to start embracing the fact that people just don't like this team. And I think for the longest time, Purdue fans have enjoyed being like the darling of pulling the big upsets, especially in football. The Tyler Trent game when they beat Ohio State, everyone loved the Buckeyes, or everyone loved Ohio State winning the game, and then Purdue with Rondale Moore makes that crazy run and they win that game. Then the Carson Edwards, they're so fun to watch. They beat Tennessee, they make it to the Elite Eight. They're a shot away from making the Final Four. This Purdue team's so fun. They're such a darling. Now they're winning games consistently, and people don't like them for doing that. So my plea to Purdue fans, stop being so sensitive and embrace the fact that people hate you now. And guess what? It's awesome.
Yeah, Robby.
I'm gonna edit that out. By the way, I'm not keeping that
Robby
in.
just said the F word, and I am jaw dropped. Right now. I am. And
I'm hammering Purdue now Friday night. No way. They
pulled up right now.
Well, I was going to say, I told you this, probably a month and a half ago, is that's kind of what my thing was with the Astros, which opening days tomorrow against the Yankees. Go kick ass. Framber Valdez is my favorite pitcher. But once you got over the fact that everyone just hated you and you embrace it, it's so much fun.
It is. It's great.
And Purdue, to me, I mean, it's probably because I live in Indiana, but I love Purdue. And I
do too.
I know I didn't take them on my bracket.
And I think it's also kind of a bigger implication of our culture now as well. I think it's I'm gonna
hating seeing people succeed.
Yes, that and it's also it's the barstool culture of let's make fun of things that don't look like they're cool. And Purdue's never been cool. They're the Fortune 500 CEO that's over in the corner that's going to make millions of dollars, but they're just not cool.
Purdue Pete gets creepy.
Yes,
I'll say I think part of the reason people don't like Purdue, and I think the Purdue fans can be a little annoying. Quite frankly, I have a lot of Purdue fans I like.
Sure,
there's some that drive me insane.
Yeah.
So I think that's also. I think it's not just because eating in the players. I think some of the fans too.
They play away.
Not you though, Robby.
Thank you, Nick.
Not you, Kelly. You're listening.
They play a way that nobody else plays. They play through a 7-4 center, and nobody else does that in college basketball. And you know what? You can go find your own 7-footer and play through him. It's not hard. They do exist. The only problem is the best 7-3-4 players are coming to Purdue because we've established that pipeline. And yes, we have another one coming in next year. So
one there now.
And
we've got Wilberg there right now. Jacobson's going to come in from Brewster Academy in Maine. That's a 7-3, 7-4 guy who can step back and hit threes. So if you feel like, man, I'm tired of seeing Edie, well, get used to it because there's more coming, buddy.
And Kentucky has 3 7-footers and can beat Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah. 3. So that's what I wanted to say to all of my Purdue friends out there. And I think any fan base is going to be annoying if they're winning a lot. I think that's kind of just a part of it. And I think Purdue fans don't understand what it's like to continuously win because we have struggled. We have stubbed our toes so many times, and now we're to the point where we are winning consistently, and we don't understand changing the attitude and mindset of what it's been like to kind of get those big wins every 5-10 years, but now we're doing it consistently. So let's be the bigger team. Let's get the job done, and let's shut up all the haters, and let's go win a national championship.
I can't believe Robby said the F word.
I know.
I'm more floored than anything right now. I'm trying to compose myself.
Who you taking, Crab, in this game?
That's actually my lock of the week.
Oh,
Boiler up, baby.
money line or like the 5.5?
5.5.
Okay. I will say I love the 5.5.
I think Gonzaga has had this nice little run they've had. I do not think they're that great of a team, and I think they've made this great run. Now they're going to go up against an opponent that is superior. Mm-hmm. I think Purdue wins by, I'm going to say, 79-67.
So Gonzaga is 4-14 against top 4 seeds since 2001. 4-14.
By the way, I forgot to mention this on Sunday night. Is this their 9th straight Sweet 16?
9th straight Sweet 16. And this is usually kind of the point where it stops for them when they run to the Sweet 16. Now, last year they had that great win against UCLA where Julian Strother hit that awesome 3. But it seems like they'll get their top 4 seed win. They got one last year against UCLA. Then they got blitzed by UConn. So they just got their top 4 seed win over Kansas.
Blitz is being nice. Yeah, they got destroyed.
They got their top 4 seed win over Kansas. Now they're about to play a Purdue team that's going to be angry and ready to roll coming up Friday night in Detroit.
2 things just on the court. Gonzaga does have some big man to throw at Zach.
They've got a couple, yes.
E.K. Watson, Craig, the white kid, I can't remember his first name. They got some size, and they've been playing all 3 of them recently, so they have a lot of guys out there. And I keep bringing up the guard play. Braden Smith versus Nimhard is going to be very, very
really
interesting.
Good
game. And even like Lawyer or / Lance Jones versus Nolan Hickman. So I really like this matchup. I will say, just to make sure we don't completely sweep, I'll take Purdue to win, but Gonzaga to cover.
That's fair.
Trying to give you some.
That's fair.
I'm not trying to jinx your Boilermaker, so Zag's a cover.
If if Alex Gregg and Anton Watson, or let me make sure that's Gregg's first name.
Is it Ben Gregg?
It's Ben Gregg. You're right. It's Ben Gregg, and he's been playing great for them. If they can get those guys going from three, because Ben Gregg was 2 for 2 from three, Anton Watson 1 for 2 from three. They also bring in Braden Huff, who can shoot threes. If those big guys can pull Edey out and make shots from three, that's how Gonzaga is going to win this game. And that's kind of what Utah State tried to do. And then Great also airballed his first 3 attempt. We were like, please go ahead and shoot as many as you want. And it trickled down to everyone else, and that's why we won by 30 in that game. So I agree. I like Purdue. I like the 5.5. That's why I'm going to stay away from it, because if I like something, I'm scared by it. So, but I do think Purdue wins. Let's go to the late games then. Duke, Houston, fun. Creighton, Tennessee, even more fun. Thoughts?
Fun. Like you just said, it's
Great
just fun
matchups.
all around. Which, as you mentioned, Houston Duke. That's going to be my lock of the week.
Oh.
Houston Cougars. They got their scare of the round 32. Duke has not played anyone yet. Granted, it's not their fault. They've dominated everyone they've
Vermont,
played.
James Madison, yeah.
I don't know if we talk about Bryce McCann. He was so good in that game against James Madison.
Was it Jared McCain, you mean?
What did I say? Bryce? Who's
You said
Bryce?
Bryce
Is
McCain.
that NFL DB? I think Bryce McCain.
Bryce McCain?
Bryce McCann.
Brian McCann.
Brian
was
McCann.
the catcher for the Braves and
Maybe
Astros.
that's
and
yeah,
Yankees.
Brian McCann, Braves catcher, yeah.
All those guys, shout to him. But Jared McCann, who, by the way, is like a TikTok star, which I did not know. Shout to him for that.
didn't either.
But Houston, again, they got their scare around 32.
4.5, baby.
We'll see them Elite Eight.
I
Go
like
Cougs.
it. Dusty,
I'm taking Houston.
do you have Duke in your bracket? You said you almost took Duke really
I
far.
think I did take
earlier this
Duke to
week, I
play
thought.
Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that bracket means nothing right now.
Sure.
I'm going to take Houston. I'm going to take the Cougars. I am pumped for this Creighton Tennessee game, but I'll let you talk about the Houston Duke game first, because that game I think is going to be the best game of the week.
I think so too. I agree. And there's a tourney theory I've had for a while. When teams play one of those really close games, it's the game after that they really look good. We've seen it so many. So when UConn was the 7 seed and they won the national championship in 2014, they almost lost their first game to St. Joe's.
Should have lost.
Yeah.
Should have lost
Should
that
have
first
lost.
game to St. Joe's. And then they went on a magical run and won the national championship. We've seen that from so many teams that have the really, really close games, and then their next game, they just turn and burn. I've seen it so many times, and I feel like we're going to see it here. I think a lot of people are jumping on Duke just because they blew out James Madison.
It's Duke.
It is Duke.
People jump on that.
And I think Houston's going to bully old Flip, and I think Houston's going to easily cover that 4.5.
It's funny you mentioned that theory. I had the same thing, but it's funny. Like the one outlier of that was 2 years ago when Arizona almost lost to TCU in round 32. And
That's right,
And
yes.
I hammered them versus Houston next round, and Houston just steamrolled them. So other than that, though, I completely agree with you. Again, that goes back to my thinking. Give me Houston, Jamal Shed, LJ Cryer. Take me to Elite Eight. Like Jake said, I love Cougars.
I like it. Producer Jake?
Quick thing for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm appalled over here.
Okay. Jake is
First of all,
appalled.
we have the CBI championship going on right now.
Give him that mic. I want him to be able to talk here.
We got the CBI championship going on right now. We got
Uh-huh.
High Point and Seattle battling it out on ESPN2. I know people aren't listening live, but so you'll be done with this. But listen to this crap. Purdue, Fort Wayne, Norfolk State. The CIT championship game tonight.
Uh-huh.
There isn't a single national broadcast that will take that game.
No.
I mean, that's disappointing.
We will.
I mean, yeah. We'll put it. I'll go grab a camera. I'll put it on
broadcast
I'm
YouTube.
that.
just
I'll
shocked.
put it
You
on
have a
YouTube.
championship game and a postseason tournament like this, and it's not even on any live network, and there's nothing on tonight.
Surely it's being streamed somewhere, right?
I'm trying to find it on ESPN Plus. I'm currently not seeing it on the scheduled list.
Try searching like CIT Championship. Maybe like their landing page.
Maybe
they'll have a
YouTube
stream.
has it.
That's possible.
Good point. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do some research. On
Okay. Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Mastodons versus the Spartans. Wonder what the line is for that game. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Creighton, Tennessee. I do like Houston. So Creighton, Tennessee, what is it? 1.5. Anti-Creighton over here. Please give me everything I need to know about this matchup Friday night.
I hate Creighton so much.
I hate Tennessee. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, Creighton's one of the few teams in the tournament that has 3 guys that averages over 16 points per game.
Yep.
Yeah. Alexander, Shireman, and Kalkbrenner.
I think Creighton wins the game. Yeah. And I hate saying
Wow.
that. And as we've discussed before, hit that button. As we discussed before, I am not anti-Tennessee like Nick is. I hate them in SEC play when they're playing against other teams. It's like my
They looked terrible against Texas.
They did. Oh, they looked horrible. They
really
should.
bad.
What was the stat that
They start off 1 of 21 from 3.
1
Yes.
for 21 for 3.
it's something where they're the first team?
Gustavo Frink couldn't just beat them. I don't get it.
Yeah. But they're the first team to shoot some percentage from 3. I think I saw and win a tournament game.
Oh wow, jeez.
It was like, and no, this isn't supposed to be a joke. I think the teams now that have done this are now 1-69. Was a stat that
Wow, that's nice.
was a stat,
That's so
stat
nice.
that I saw. But something
That
like,
Texas team is so talented, and they are so bad.
well, remember, I didn't think they made the tournament when we were doing this.
Like Max Asmus, Tyrese Hunter,
Yeah.
Dylan Dessou,
Brock Cunningham.
We're really including Brock Cunningham in this.
We're just naming
I mean,
names at this point.
that's it.
I mean, they got talent on that Texas team, and they just,
We've talked about
Dexter
coaching many times.
Pittman.
That's an indictment on coaching. Like, how do you have that talent and not win?
I don't know.
Which I'm sure we'll get to Calipari at some point.
Yes,
but,
we will.
But I don't get that. So it's going to be a fun game. 2 very fast, offensively powered teams. Connect is going to be obviously why am I spacing? Who's Tennessee's lefty overseas player?
Josiah
Vescovy.
Jordan James?
Vescovy.
Vescovy.
Vescovy. I think he will be the X factor in this game.
So
So-
I found a really cool stat. So Creighton gives up the highest percentage of their points is on mid-range jump shots of any team left in Sweet 16. If Tennessee and so Zakai Ziegler, Dalton Connect, they can shoot mid-range jumpers. By the way, if Creighton was playing Alabama,
Well, you said
that would be
Josiah
a
James.
dream matchup.
Yeah.
Because Alabama does not want to shoot any mid-range jump shots. It's either at the basket or from 3. So I wish we would get that one.
Both
but
teams
we
would be
don't.
so confused in that matchup.
I agree with you. I like Creighton. I do. I think they find a way to get it done. And it's Rick Barnes and Tennessee at this point. They've made it to a Sweet 16 before. That's when they lost to Purdue and just ran into Carson Edwards. But I trust Creighton more. I trust their guards. I trust Baylor Shireman to make big shots down the stretch. If Kalkbrenner can stay out of foul trouble, I really like Creighton's chances. So I honestly like them plus 2.5. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. Like Dusty said earlier, I am very anti-Tennessee. If Kentucky gets bounced down the first round and Tennessee makes a run, this is just gonna hurt. Like I'll be cheering for Creighton harder than any other team this weekend. So give me Creighton. It's Rick Barnes in the tournament, and I think what
Than any other team?
Yeah, Tennessee going on maybe single state of UConn, but you get my Tennessee fans. I cannot stand. They're already making the jokes at Cal and Kentucky.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I hate Tennessee, Dusty.
So for those who don't know, I spent 9 years covering SEC sports, and I will say Tennessee fans are probably the fans I liked the least interacting with. Arkansas fans were a very close second,
That's what I was gonna guess.
and I do not like Tennessee fans. I don't. They're very obnoxious. They're very abrasive. They're very mean.
Well, I don't even hate Creighton fans. I just hate Creighton as a whole.
And also, I really want a Creighton Purdue final because they do like have a lot of similarities. Like white point guards, dominant big men down there. Lance Jones and Trey Alexander kind of fit the same mold.
I will tell you this:
if you're married, you shouldn't be allowed to play college basketball. Let's just get that out of the way.
Oh, I agree. If we get a Creighton Purdue matchup, if you're listening to this right now, if we get Creighton Purdue in the Elite Eight, whatever Braden Smith's points are in that game, you put the entire mortgage on the over. Because again, like I mentioned, the mid-range jumpers, Braden Smith lives off the mid-range jumpers on high pick and rolls. Like that's his shot, and he's going to get all of those he wants in that game. So I'm just letting you know right now, that's one you need to hammer hard.
And by the way, for Creighton, we've not even mentioned his name yet. Baylor Shireman. I love this matchup for him.
Great.
He's going to take his over in points.
Yes, I agree.
Against Tennessee.
All right, so let's get to our Final Fours. Who are we taking in our Final Fours across the board?
So we're just who to get to the Final Four, or are we finishing the bracket?
Who's making the Final Four then?
Crap.
We're not gonna pick the Final Four.
It
but
seems
we're
like
gonna,
you have yours somewhat more figured out.
Shoot.
So I think
the picks already made already, and I hate them all.
I think we're going 2008 all over again. I think all 4 1 seeds make the Final Four.
Really?
How this question real quick? Which 1 seed do you trust the least gets the Final Four? Before we answer.
That's a good question.
I'd say Carolina.
But I like Carolina's matchups. I like Alabama, and then if they play Arizona, I think they beat Arizona or Clemson. So I'll be honest. I think
I think Purdue might have like the toughest.
Purdue's got the toughest road, I think, because they're going to play 2 teams that are playing very well. I think. I mean, Yeah, I'd probably trust Purdue the least just because they've shown that they can't do it. So until they show that they can actually make a Final Four, that would be the team I would trust the least. And I will say, if UConn beats San Diego State, they're definitely going to the Final Four. Like, the San Diego State's the team they got to get past first before they can make it. So
yeah, I think UNC's the answer for me, but Purdue's a close second just because what you just laid out.
And that makes sense.
That being said, on our bracket show, my Final Four is still alive, so I'll take the same Final Four.
Who'd you take?
I have Illinois, Arizona, Marquette, Creighton. Give me those. Oh,
Wow.
no, Houston, not Marquette, sorry.
Okay.
So give me those same four
Nice.
teams. There you go.
pretty good. Dusty?
I'll go San Diego State. No, I lied to you. They're going to beat UConn. I go Illinois,
Okay.
Houston.
Remember, we've had a 5-seed or lower make the Final Four every year for the past, I think,
Well, it's going to
15
stop
years.
here.
Okay.
Alabama and Creighton.
That's a
Hate
chaos
myself.
Final Four.
Hate myself.
Jeez. Now, if that happens, when we come back on here Monday, I guess we'll probably do it. If you get all four of those rights, I'll bring you a bottle of bourbon. Your choice. How about
Appreciate that. Okay.
Pappy Van Winkle.
No, it has to be within reason.
Appreciate it, Robby. And you went all 4 1-seeds, right?
I'm going all 4 1-seeds. I think all 4 1-seeds find a way to get it done. Lord Jesus, if you were listening to this and you have any desire to just intercede on my behalf, please let Purdue make a Final Four. Please. Okay, amen. That's
Amen.
All right.
If Purdue goes to the Elite Eight, you can go to church on Sunday. You might have to go do that, Robbie.
I mean, it's Easter Sunday, so of
Right.
course I'm
Oh,
going.
good point. Good
regardless. And I will. So there's a lot of weird. You mentioned the Maui Invitational thing at the start of the show. If Purdue's following this run where they could play all 3 teams that they saw in Maui, they're playing Gonzaga first. Then they could end up playing Tennessee, and they could play Marquette in the Final
literally
Four.
the exact same order.
The exact same route, which is wild. And then you run into a UConn team that put out a really good Purdue team back in 2009 in the Sweet 16. That would be, again, the revenge tour. But also, that Monday of the national championship game is that solar eclipse day. A 1 in a million phenomenon, or not a 1 in a million, but it happens every 50, 60 years or something. Well, Purdue wins a national championship every 90 years, so I'm just saying.
The stars are aligning, aren't they?
So
Literally.
Where do you stand now on possibly going to the Final Four?
I'm still probably not going as much as I really want to. I've spent so much money on going to see them play like just the last 5-6 months that I'm not sure that I could swing a big trip. Now,
You should at least talk to our accounting department, though, Robbie. We might be able to finance something. They sent me to Lexington a couple times.
maybe my friends could possibly talk me into it. Well, I'm very easily manipulated. So
Hellas, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
That's how we
that's
started this
true.
podcast, was
Yes.
manipulating him.
yes, that's a good point. But again, I go back to I'm excited and I'm looking forward to these games. These are all great games, and it should be a lot of fun. All right, before we put a bow on the show, I want to talk about coaching changes around college basketball because my gosh, if you had a ride on this coaching carousel, you've gotten off because it is making your head spin with everything that's been happening. So, Pat Kelsey to Louisville is confirmed. Remember, we told you it was going to be Dusty May. Charleston coach. Yeah, the Charleston head coach, Pat Kelsey. It's basically done, yes. It has not been officially confirmed, but by multiple sources, it has been confirmed it's going to be Pat Kelsey. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the story with him at UMass. Do you guys remember this? So, before he took the Charleston job, I believe he was going to be the head coach and was introduced as the head coach at UMass. He talked with the team, he got introduced as the coach, and then literally 30 minutes after he got introduced and talked to the team, he took the job at Charleston.
I did not
Yes.
know that.
So he's apparently just a wild card, and this could go very wrong or it could go very well for Louisville. And I'm here for
It's such a
whatever
Louisville hire.
It is a very Louisville hire.
Well, we should mention we can get there's at one point Richard Pitino, not Rick Pitino.
I was going to mention
was the leading candidate,
Richard Pitino,
which is hilarious on so many levels. Again, the whole Rick Pitino part of it and how that went down is funny,
Crazy.
But also too, like it's not like Richard Pitino has not been like a fireworks at New Mexico and Minnesota.
No.
He's been fine.
He absolutely hasn't. I like the fact that Bob Huggins threw his name into the hat. Can you imagine Bob Huggins at Louisville?
It'd be so
Honestly,
perfect.
that's not a terrible hire if you just forget about all the DUIs and other stuff that he does off the court. But I mean, he could turn Louisville around.
Oh, absolutely.
He
Man
definitely
can
could.
coach.
Yeah. So yes, Pat Kelsey to Louisville, just about 99.9%. So
which again, I'm sure he might do fine. He may not. Again, Louisville's a top 10 program historically, and they got the Charleston head coach. So it's probably not what they're hoping for going to all this.
I think you will see most of the Louisville fans on social media are very disappointed in the hire, but I think it's a good hire. Honestly, it could be better than the Dusty May hire. We don't know. It's hard to say.
Which did you see Dusty May and him got into it in the game this year?
I did not.
Or I guess it was Weatherspoon on FAU was talking smack to Kelsey, and then Kelsey would go say something to Dusty May. So
interesting. I'll look that up.
Michigan rivalry.
Okay, I like
now.
it. So Calipari officially staying at the University of Kentucky. I want to start with Nick first. You said you're officially done with him on the pod, on our therapy pod last week. Where are we feeling? What do we feel right now?
I got asked the same question last night before the news came out. I've not changed my tune at all.
Okay.
If it was up to me, no buyout included, I would have moved on from him. I thought this time is now, but I'm not surprised. I really thought there's little no chance of being fired with just everything goes into it. Again, when the season starts next year, again, I'll root for him. He's still Kentucky. He's still one of my favorite coaches of all time. But again, if it were up to me, I would not bring him back. I think the time is past, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Woohoo.
How Dusty? How different is this team going to look next year? Are we seeing? Is this going to be a brand new run out of new five, or are we going to see DJ Wagner? Are we going to see Reed Shepherd come back? What is this team going to look like next year?
I'm actually trying to find out. I sent a message to Matt Jones yesterday.
Okay.
To see if we can get some insight. First off, let's start with, as you guys have heard, I love John Calipari. I'm glad he's coming back. Thursday night, I was having mixed emotions. It's like a relationship.
It's heat of the moment, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Glad he's back. I do think he needs to. He's a very smart individual. He's a good basketball coach, but he does need to do the whole look in the mirror. I think I said this on Thursday.
Yeah.
The staff's got to change. And that's the one thing I always say.
Get Orlando Antigua off the bench.
Yeah, dude.
He's still there. He's a great recruiter, but he does nothing for you in the game.
A recruiting consultant is what he is. But
yeah,
all he does in the game is he gets yelled at by Cal, and he tells Cal yes, is all he does.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in...
does Kenny Payne come back? Yeah, I was about to say, Producer Jake just said the same thing. Does Kenny Payne come back?
I would love for Kenny Payne to come back. Did I say Kenny Payne? Kenny Payne. I want that so bad. He's
it makes sense.
Defensive
Why not?
specialist.
Yeah.
He's clearly not a head coach. We just saw that.
Mildly.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be a CEO. And some people do. My father's a CEO.
Some people like coming off the bench rather than starting.
Yes. Some people want someone to, kind of.
Some people start or put their two best players off the bench. That's what some coaches do.
Yeah. But that'll be the interesting part. So let's go with that real quick.
It was very cute, though. Yeah, it was fun.
Let's go with that. So my biggest thing is still, and we talked about this over the weekend.
Do you think Reed Shepherd comes back?
That's who I was going to say. I have no idea. That's what I emailed Matt Jones about.
I don't think I think the opportunity is too great for him to be potentially a lottery pick that I just don't see how he does come back. But there could be the pull of following his dad, figuring out getting Kentucky back to the promised land. Maybe that's the pull that draws him back. And I'm sure that he'll get a big NIL package to stay. But
Nick thinks he's gone for sure, right?
Dillingham's definitely gone.
100%. I was 100% Reed Shepherd. With how it ended, I'm like 98%. But I'd be shocked if he's back. And more than anything, Cal's always pretty much like, if it's 50-50, go.
Yeah, go.
Right.
Go get paid.
Like PJ Washington is kind of like the exception to that, and maybe someone else I'm forgetting. But
Alex Poitras?
Alex Poitras, who stayed like 4 years actually.
Yeah.
Wish out to him. But again,
Eskimo Brothers.
I'm sure.
What about?
Shut up.
What about Patrick Patterson? That's another one,
too. Patterson, both Harrison twins.
Oh, my gosh.
Cut all this.
The Harrison twins, which...
These are more for the summer conversations.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take these parts out.
Terrence Jones?
Jared Polson.
James Young. I always forget.
It's not Jared. Oh, I thought it was Jared Polson. My bad.
Jared Polson.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so Kentucky's going to look very different next year, I think. But DJ Wagner is the curious question. I don't know what he is and what he's going to be. Does he come back? Is he a first-round pick? I don't know what he is.
We talked the other day how he was like the core of the team for the first really 3 months, and then just...
I assume Big Z will be back.
I mean, I just never know. Again, people in the
you don't know.
Yeah. With the transfer portal these days, too, you just never know. Like,
have you seen the number that is in the transfer portal right now? There's over 1,000 players in the transfer portal.
We've not really talked about this on the show. It is so stupid that the transfer portal opens the day after Selection Sunday.
Correct.
That's why a lot of these teams don't accept NIT bids.
Gonzaga's already got a commitment from a guy that's transferring from Pepperdine.
Alabama does too.
You're still in the tournament. Who's doing this?
Again, that's why teams don't accept NIT bids. Like, we might as well just start recruiting right now.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
waste time doing this?
Well, it's the same thing with college football. Why accept a bowl bid? Let's just go find and recruit. If we're 6-6, I don't care.
And
let's go.
NIT too. Like, half your team just could be in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So who's going to be playing? Just push the transfer portal day back. This is so simple.
There
I was going
has
to say,
to be,
wait for Final Four weekend.
But
that'd be the perfect time.
there's got to be more oversight in the transfer portal. That'll be a whole other topic for another show that we do later on. But my gosh. Okay, Rob Dillingham currently top 3 pick. That's about where I think they is.
Yeah, he's 110% gone.
Yeah. Here's the other coaching moves that we don't know yet or could be happening or have happened. Andy Infield of USC rumored to be taking the SMU job. So he's trying to get out of Southern California and get to Dallas, which...
Yeah, and for people who don't remember, SMU is moving to the ACC to be their interns in a couple years. Is it next year they're joining the ACC? Or is it 2 years? Does anyone
I believe it's next year. I think they are joining the ACC next year.
Which ACC interns, which is just so funny. They're really not going to make money the first couple of years.
July 1st, okay.
Thanks, Jake.
So, yeah. Josh Schertz, supposedly the rumor is that he turned down the Louisville job. Can you believe that?
Oh,
Josh Schertz is the Indiana State head coach. He was also rumored to be taking the St. Louis job potentially. Now he's kind of in limbo because his team is making a run in the NIT. I doubt he'll be back at Indiana State next year because he deserves to get a shot at a big job. But he's still kind of out there.
Well, you say that, but what jobs are running out?
That's the problem. It's like I don't know. Maybe he's waiting for Mike Woodson. I don't know. Which that would make sense. I mean, Mike Woodson does have one more year, and unless they figure it out, they're getting rid of him.
Or I guess if Andy Infield does move on, maybe he goes to USC.
Maybe USC. That's an odd fit.
Right.
So I don't know if that works. So keep an eye on Josh Schertz because he's a very good head coach, and I think he's going to do great wherever he goes. My fun one of the week: Jerry McNamara is going to Siena. How about that one, right? Yeah. So assistant coach on the Syracuse staff. He's supposedly taking the head coaching job at Siena, which I think that's a fun hire. It could work out really well. Danny Sprinkle is going to be the new head coach at Washington. I think that's a really good hire. I think Danny Sprinkle's a really, really good head coach. I thought he had a great game plan to play against Purdue because he basically put Zach. He had his 4 and 5 basically run a pick and roll for most of the first half and basically had that switch, which meant you put your 4, the 4 basically dribbled out and passed it out to the 5, and that meant Zach Edey switched on to the 4 and played outside on the perimeter, and then
they just got in foul trouble too.
Foul trouble really hurt them too. That Johnson kid that got into foul trouble and got 2 fouls, that kind of hurt him pretty significantly. By the way, if you're hearing leaf blowers right now,
you are not mistaken.
The landscapers are
it's for the Maple Leaves.
Hard at work at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. Other ones, Mark Byington, the James Madison head coach, striking while the iron's hot and going to Vanderbilt. We'll see if that works out. So that means James Madison's head football coach and head basketball coach are now at IU and Vandy, respectively. Two up-and-coming programs. Darian DeVries, the head coach at Drake, is now at West Virginia, and he's probably getting his son Tucker DeVries to transfer to West Virginia, which would be really good. So keep an eye on the Mountaineers for next year. And then maybe my favorite hire of the week was our good friends at IUPUI. The Jaguars hiring Paul Cresero to be the head coach of the Jaguars. He was, we're going to give an applause to Paul Cresero. Good dude, good coach, did really good stuff at UIndy. He's a Ron Colley grad, has Indy roots. We have been begging on this show for IUPUI to hire a guy who's committed to recruiting the state of Indiana and Indianapolis, and he's already doing that. I already see him see recruits from the state of Indiana, especially Indy, already tweeting out that they're taking official visits to IUPUI. They've gotten offers. Like, That's exactly what IUPUI should be doing. So good for them. Good for Paul Crescero. I'm really excited about what they're doing there.
Well, they had it with Jason Gardner, and then he pulled a Mark Few.
Yeah, he did. That didn't go well.
But it is cool to see. I mean, we're recording this about probably 25 minutes away from the IUPUI campus. Just to have a homegrown, talented person who I've never met him myself, but the people that I know that know him say he very charismatic, a very just likable person.
Really good coach.
And yes, we've talked about this before with IUPUI. Hone in on. I'd be in downtown India every single high school basketball game if I had that job.
Addicts,
and just,
Tech,
whoever
it is,
go get
to
the talent, go get the athletes. IUPUI is to me, what Butler has done is what IUPUI should have done.
Or like what Oakland's good every year. Schools like that, why they can, or Northern Kentucky schools like down in Summit or Horizon League, they can be just like one of those schools.
By the way, shout out to Travis Perry and his team winning the state championship in Kentucky. So good
great
for him.
weekend in Kentucky. It was awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to say anything else?
No, that's period. That's all I had.
Nothing else was happening in Kentucky, so that was it.
Nothing else was happening in Kentucky. That's correct. Yeah. we got
Calipari was staying.
We got 3-star offensive lineman commit. So
good job.
There we go.
Is that good?
By the way, how that Stoops almost left too. He came back. He was to coach A&M for an hour. That was fun.
You guys are down bad.
I'm sure the Bat Cats are doing fine. I have no idea. Do you know?
I have not been keeping up with Kentucky baseball. I know Mississippi State's ranked now.
Okay, there we go.
So, yeah.
Check out our next pod. We're going to do a D1 Done baseball pod.
I love college baseball, but I haven't had as much time to get into it.
Real quick, we have any MLB World Series predictions before opening day?
Cubs.
Okay, Cubs. Works for me.
That's it.
Braves.
No, not the Reds?
They won NL Central. How about that?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Crap.
Astros over Dodgers.
Dodgers aren't making... Here's my hot take. You want a hot take? The Dodgers don't make the World Series.
Oh, I didn't say don't make the play.
I thought about not saying don't.
I thought he was too. I was actually really excited.
The Dodgers are going to lose to an 82-win Giants team, and they won't make it to the next round.
Johnny Snell.
Advice to any kids listening right now: if you have an interpreter, do not let him gamble $4 million.
Correct,
That's my word of advice to you.
Do not let your interpreters gamble millions and millions of dollars. Which, by the way, it's like started a trend on Twitter where like people will have like these have their friends text them and they have them listed in their contacts as like a famous athlete, and it's like, hey, take my under for hits on the season or something like that, and then they tag the MLB, get this guy, do it. Or like the NBA is doing the same thing.
Shout Jonte Porter.
Yeah, Jonte Porter, dude, what are you doing?
I saw a picture the other day.
Michael Porter's brother, by the way.
I saw a picture on Twitter where it was Ohtani, I think, was in the batter's box, and Mookie Betts was about to walk up to bat, and so it was a picture of Ohtani and
Betts.
Yeah.
Solid. That's good stuff. So, yeah, enjoy the start of the baseball season. Should be a fun year. But when we come back on the show, we will be talking about the Final Four. Get excited, friends.
Go get him, Robby. Come on.
Boiler up, baby.
Boiler up. Hope we can do it. We'll let you know when we're back on our next show. But that'll do it for this episode of the D1 and Done Pod. For Nick Mills, for Dusty Mills, for producer Jake, I'm Robby Donahoe. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Please, for the love of God, Purdue. Please. I'm begging you. We'll see you next show.